David Beebe, and I'm here with Garfinkel and Erick Schwab today. We're going to dive into this topic that everyone's really talking about, which is about how social media influencer emailed a hotel, asked the hotel for a stay for Valentine's Day. In exchange, she would make a post about them and create content. Lots of coverage in the press, seemingly taking two sides of this and in the industry. One is siding with the hotel and the brand. And then the other one siding with the influencer as well. So you guys have been in this space for a long time. SYLO does independent influencer measurement and certainly helps brands understand what's working and what's not. So dive in. What's your perspective and take on the story in general?
My first reaction was, and this is for both sides, obviously it could have been handled better. You have to establish, if you're the creator, that you're approaching this as a business transaction. And that way they understand where you're coming from. But at that moment, you then have to be prepared to offer the value to, say, the hotel. And at that point, the hotel will hear that, will see the data that's being presented, and will make a determination whether to accept it, decline, or negotiate for that matter. It seems like it was just thrusted that I have followers, I have subscribers, accept this as a positive offering. But at the same time, when the hotel hears that, they obviously have to respond accordingly and just set the tempo. And I think it became like an attack right away.
Yeah, just coming at it from, this is business and it's a business transaction versus, again, I have followers and therefore you should jump at this opportunity.
Which is what she said in her her response in the video response she posted, was that she had all good intention and she was really reaching out to, as a business transaction, essentially how she's defending it. But I think what your point is influencers and creators today need to actually go beyond that and really justify, in a sense, the amount of followers they have, but actually how engaged they are and why it's right for that business to do it, so that the owner, the brand manager really understands the true value and ROI they're getting, and in particular, even instances where they've worked with like-minded brands before.
Yeah, I think ultimately, just because, again, you have audience or you have followers does not mean you have influence in this subject matter at all, right? And so as the business owner, who's advertising into this audience, again, it's beholden on the creator to convey, that not only do they have subject matter expertise, but that when they talk about this subject, their audience responds very favorably, right? Like consistently, not one time or two times, all the time that they're doing it. It's part of their cadence. And again, going back to what Brett mentioned, that falls on the creator back to the business owner as to why this is a good marketing opportunity.
A couple of years ago, brands were just giving stuff away because they saw people with numbers. They really didn't know how to measure them, and it was just based on, wow, they got a bunch of likes around that. In today's world now, CMOs are actually pulling back dollars now, not only in influencer marketing, but other ad spend, to really take a deep dive into the numbers and understand, well, what does that actually mean? How do we actually measure this? And how do we actually prove success? And is this driving sales? Is it changing perception of the brand? Is it exposing the brand to a new audience? So you guys work with a lot of brands and influencers in this space. So what are you seeing happen there in terms of what are brands really looking for when it comes to data?
Looking for in data, right, is you hit the nail on the head, going beyond the views and the likes, the comments, to really understanding, again, does this individual have influence, again, over this audience in a subject matter that I'm targeting as the marketer, right? Understanding, that they're going to be producing content with this individual, and they need to understand their benchmark. Their benchmarks when they're talking about all these various different subject matters on all their various different social outlets. How are audiences responding when you talk about these things? More importantly, how are they responding when brands are involved in that conversation? Is it a positive collaboration? Are there lifts, again, happening as a result of a brand coming into this conversation with the creator, and it being, again, a positive outcome from a marketing, from the creator, and an audience standpoint, right? Something I know we share a very big passion point around with you is stop interrupting, right? Be a part of what the fans want to be. And in this instance, it felt a little more out of the ordinary, right? Like, do her fans really want to see her do hotel room reviews? You know, is that something she does? Is that why they come there, you know, to view this content? So again, I think when we're looking at data, they're looking at independence. Too much self-reporting, too many influencers self-reporting number, too many matching platforms self-reporting. Independent data really allows business owners to evaluate, you know, the impact, because they're getting all the data unstructured or structured to them. And more importantly, the creators. The creators can really then validate their pitches back, saying, no, I am a subject matter expert. And again, when I do talk about this, here's how my audience responds. And I have done work with brands. And when I do, here's the positive benefits of that collaboration.
Just like TV has Nielsen, third-party independent measurement, that's essentially what SYLO is doing for influencers, is to verify the data and actually ultimately help them out and provide them with more data to say, look, this is real data, it's been verified, it's third-party, and here's how I can show you how I can actually help you brand in these different areas. And then the same things for the brands.
Absolutely. I mean, again, these are the things, these are the building blocks of where we're at that build long-term businesses, right, in this marketplace for all parties involved, specifically creators, and certainly the brands who have already shown a big appetite to invest big dollars and certainly will continue to invest. I know not one CMO that does not always pay for performance. Show them the performance, show them that it's working, deliver them the confidence and the transparency, and they will come back tenfold to these individual content creators.
I believe all parties in the influencer marketing game, or in media, the buyers, the media buyers, the agencies, the CMOs, the brands direct, the vendors, the creators, they all want optimization. They want to do better, okay? And the only way you can do better is with proper, clear, transparent, unbiased, metrics, data.
Yeah.
And when you understand what's working and what's not working, that's the first step.
You always say, we always say this all the time, we have to weed out the pretenders from the players.
Yeah.
Okay? We have to. And that just naturally has to happen.
Anyone could be a creator, but not everyone could be a true influencer.
Right.
And the data
happened today, not only on Instagram, but you've just seen that with YouTube change their monetization program, where you have to have a certain amount of hours now to actually be monetized to help out weed those people. To your point, technology is a great tool that's really grown marketing in a lot of other industries. However, it's also allowed everyone to be a creator, and everyone really is a influencer at a certain point or in a way. So, we saw this story a couple of months ago where an agency actually went out and created 2 fake profiles, shot a bunch of photography in a matter of days, and built these fake influencer profiles, and brands were paying for that. And again, that goes back to the problem here is that people, essentially, in some cases, I'm not saying this is everyone, but those are essentially bots that are then self-reporting back, and they're wondering why their sales aren't going up, or they're not seeing the revenue or the change in the business or whatever. I mean, to sort of wrap it up, the owner's response was a little harsh, maybe a better way to handle it, and if he would have, and look, maybe even asking for that data, she would have realized, or he would have realized, this isn't a match, but thank you for reaching out. There is absolute value in influencers and creators. They're out there working hard, but at the same time, they also need to, in a sense, mature and realize that numbers, it goes way beyond that now. Now people go to find out about what SYLO is doing in the data space here.
Yeah, definitely check us out. Website is meetsylo.com.
Thank you for your time today, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Sounds good.